A little bit late to the party because I myself, no offense, don't deal with physical junk. But if you're thinking of buying a physical copy of Assassin's Creed Shadows, a lot of people don't seem to know this, but it tells you right on the box that an internet connection is required to install the game the very first time. Whether the reason is because it's going to force you, I just almost swallowed my microphone, to force you to download the day one update, or it's some type of CD authentication, whatever the excuse is, it's fucking bullshit. And this goes to all the people that support this practice. I personally don't care for myself because I do everything digital for this very fucking reason. Because you don't own your game to begin with. Even a game that you have physically where it doesn't require an internet connection. Actually, I think Mirage didn't require one. From what people have been saying. Then again, there's been people saying that got early copies of this game that they didn't require an internet connection and they were able to play the game. I call bullshit on that because I don't think Ubisoft would fake pretend to require an internet connection to install the game when you in fact don't. So I'm going to go with what they say. Sony, Xbox, Microsoft, whatever, they can easily block a game if they don't want you having it from your account. Unless you never, ever, ever go back online ever again. I know that for a fact because when my PlayStation got hacked, I couldn't even get to my dashboard. All my games were completely junk. I couldn't play anything. My digital games, that is. So that is why I do the digital thing. Because you just end up buying a fucking coffee coaster for your mug. That's all that these physical games are for. That's why I will shit on them. And to be perfectly honest, borderline laugh at people that buy physical copies. Because you don't own your fucking game. Whether it's physical or not. Just because you can hold it, doesn't mean you own it. They can very easily, like I said, revoke that license if they wanted to. Okay? So that's why I decided that. Plus, I didn't want hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of physical games and then constantly all day, whatever the sound it would make, I don't know. To pop in and out games all the time. I'm switching constantly, making videos and whatnot. I can't fucking deal with that bullshit, honestly. Nor can I deal with this. However, just like a lot of people are like, oh, this is bullshit. And then people will say, yeah, but you're still buying the games. Like, yeah, I'll buy it. I'll play it. This is also my job. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to call out the shenanigans when I see them. I was going to use the BS word again, but I can only drop so many curse words before this video gets unmonetized, and then I won't get my 25 cents I was going to make on this video, if even that. So yeah, it is a disgrace. It really, really is. I mean, in the odd game where you're pretty sure that this kind of crap would never happen, like a game like Days Gone. Well, Days Gone on disc, Cyberpunk 2077 on disc, Witcher 3, the original disc copy, Day 1. These are all games that are fully unplayable. Generation 0. They're some of the biggest, stinkiest piles of donkey shit I have ever sniffed. Ever on day one. Through all the multiple updates. Oh, sure. Now they're great. Look at God of War Ragnarok. I wouldn't play that shit on a disc. Because no offense, I really like the Valhalla update, and that's what makes me keep wanting to come back. Some games like Assassin's Creed. Let's talk about Assassin's Creed. Let's say we talk about Valhalla. Let's say we talk about Odyssey. All the changes that you can implement for yourself for the level scaling of the game if you would so choose to want to do that. Helps if I could speak properly. Same thing with like The Witcher 3. Not going to get that on disc. You need all those updates. So it's kind of like what they would almost need to do, and I think they used to do this years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, is back in the day when everything was physical, you couldn't even buy games through download, or it was in its early infancy. They would do a complete package with all the updates, and then they would republish it on disc. Now, if they published Assassin's Creed Valhalla now on disc. One disc, it's got everything, every update that they've ever done. No internet required to install the game, like none of this shit right there. I would probably buy the disc for that. I would probably do that. Days Gone, they're doing the remastered. That's going to have all the updates in it. Except I don't think that one's going to have a physical copy. If they did make one, that is something I would probably buy. Why? Just for shits and giggles. But my PS5 Pro doesn't even have a disc tray, which was fucking stupid. Again, for me, I don't give a shit about the tray. Right? I haven't dealt with the tray or the disc thing since, what was it? The PS3. The PS3 was when you could start like downloading games. You didn't always have to have the disc. The last game I bought a physical copy for was actually Grand Theft Auto 5. Because, again, you didn't really have a choice as far as I remember. So, yeah, this is the world we live in. What I'm saying is I'm learning to live with it myself. Because throughout the years of me gaming, it's been decent. It's been decent. More often than none, I do get to actually play my games. It's only ever happened once because I got locked out of my account. Someone was able to improvise me. I didn't actually get hacked. They did reverse social engineering and called Sony, and they were able to trick them into thinking it was me. And they, anyways, did a bunch of stuff. Now it's different because I have to provide like a bunch of weird information to them, and I have to physically call in. And then they have to call my house phone. Then they have to call my cell phone. Then they have to text me before they do anything. It's absolutely like crazy what has to be done now. And that part is pathetic. But it's... So to me, ever since I found out that stuff like that can happen, it just kind of put a damper on things. We live in a world where you don't get the complete amazing experience on day one. Doesn't matter if it's a fucking baseball game or anything, you're just not getting a good day one experience. Even the Nintendo Switch, sure, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, those revered holier-than-thou games, yeah, they don't need an internet connection, but you can't even back up your save physically to a USB, but you can't do that with the PS5 anymore. You could with the PS4, you can't do it with an Xbox, and that, to me, is just a crock of shit. There's a lot of things I just don't like. I miss like the old PS2 days where you had your memory card and you could be like, look at this. My 4 megabyte or 8 megabyte card has all my save data on it. That way, if your PS2 blows up, you had your save data, you put the disc in, bam. You didn't have to worry about an internet connection. Why? Because that was a one-shot deal. Your game came out on PS2? Or the original Xbox, that was it. There was no updates there because they didn't exist. There was no internet connection. Xbox 360, PS3, a lot of math this early in the morning, were the first consoles of their kind, correct me if I'm wrong, that even had internet capability, that were able to expand on these more elaborate games. And if there were glitches and hiccups and features they wanted to add later, they could do so. They could choose to do so, which I think is amazing. But I feel like nowadays that's being used as a crutch by lazy developers to just pump out the game. Here it is, half-ass bullshit because they met the deadline. I still don't understand the whole story with that. How is that any different than back in the PS2 Xbox days? And the games functioned, but now they were more simplistic, sure. However, I still think it's a crapshoot overall. So anyhow, that is why I just do digital, because I don't own my games, physical or not. I know I'm just kind of repeating myself in a circle here. I'm going in a circle with things I've been saying, I mean. And I am disappointed, and I am calling it out. There is no excuses, like I said, for this kind of shit. It's a single-player game. This isn't Assassin's Creed Unity. Is that the one that had the co-op? I can't remember. Get it? Unity, uniform. Anyways. It shouldn't be that way. Otherwise, why even bother making the physical copy? And again, this is a common thing. Or it isn't, and you could play the game day one, but you wouldn't want to. You would be absolutely crazy to play your game day one without any updates, physical disc, no internet connection. Look at Call of Duty. I don't even have that shit installed on my PlayStation anymore. Because now a lot of the games for the past several years, what they've done is they've lumped them into the Call of Duty app. And if you don't have an internet connection, games that you could at one point play offline without an internet connection with bots, you now can't do that. Black Ops 4 is the last game by Call of Duty that you could play without the launcher, that you could play without an internet connection. So once in a blue moon, I play Call of Duty 4. I play the Modern Warfare Remastered and World War II. For me, those are the three, best Call of Duties that you could play offline with bots. And Ghosts as well, but the graphics are starting to look really dated on that shit because it's like a decade old now. That's going back a long time. So yeah, it's just overall, it sucks. I just deal with it because you don't have a choice. You either deal with it or you just don't game at all. So what I will do is I will bitch, moan, and complain, get 7 views on my YouTube videos, share them on Twitter where they'll get an extra 3 views. And in the stroke of a miracle, I somehow catch the developer's eye and other bigger, more relevant YouTubers, content creators, do the same thing, but most of them don't. That's the thing. They're too afraid to step out of the shadow and be like, bitch, what is this shit? Because a lot of these big wigs, they're sponsored. They're getting flown to wherever. They get to try the game out 6 months early, then they get a free copy. If I was as big as them, I wouldn't give a shit about their free copy because I'd be making so much money. I'll just pay the $80, $90 Canadian or whatever it is for the game. Right? So you're not always going to know about these things. And they won't get a lot of backlash if a lot of people don't want to speak up against it. So they're just going to keep doing it. And I think they'll just keep doing it regardless as well. I really don't understand the why they do this. It's anti-consumer. And if anything, if you were greedy, you think you would at least pretend to care about your consumers and appease to them and get rid of things that are bullshit so that more people have respect for you and in turn support you, which means in turn more groschen in your pocket. Okay? I need to stop talking. 13 minutes to talk about this, really? It is disappointing. Again, doesn't affect me personally because I'm digital, so I gotta be online to download that, obviously. So, yeah. So thumbs up. If you liked the video, I wouldn't suggest you do that. But if you did, sure, go ahead. Helps with the algorithm. We see how well that's been going on for the last almost 7 years. And if you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. We'll bend it in half, twist it, we'll whip it, and we'll chop it. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, I mean, naturally, that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care, and if I'm lucky, maybe I will see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.